Good morning, students. I hope so everyone is good and everyone is fine. So we have completed off with this chapter, manufacturing industries. We have done the entire chapter, and now in this particular lecture we are going to discuss all the NCERT question and answer solutions that is given in your book. So we are going to do all the questions. Basically the MCQ you have to do in your book only, and rest of the questions you have to do in your main notebook, that is the classwork notebook, with the maps that I have given you previously. So these work should be there in your notebook. Now we will be discussing each and every question. Just have the book within your hand and one notebook and one pen. And if you have any difficulty in any question that we are going to discuss in this particular lecture, just let me know that you are not able to understand, and please explain it to me in the online class. So let's get started with the lecture. So we are going to discuss all the NCERT size questions, starting from the multiple choice question. So these multiple choice question you have to mark in your book itself. You don't have to do that in your main notebook. So question number 1, you have to start doing from your book. So please keep your book in your hand. That is the most important thing. And I will be explaining you the question as well, what it is saying and why the answer is eventually that. Okay, so we'll be discussing each and every question now. So the first question here that is given is, which one of the following industries uses limestone as a raw material? So you have to tell in this particular question that which industry from these options uses limestone as a raw material. So the answer, the options that have been given to you, first of all, is aluminium, cement, sugar and jute. So basically aluminium doesn't use limestone as a whole, because they are made up of these bauxites and crystalloid. Now if we talk about sugar is also not using limestone. Jute is also an agricultural product, they are not also using limestone. So here comes cement. Cement is the one who is a mixture of these particular minerals, and the combination of that does make cement. So the answer of this particular question is B, cement. Second question here is, which one of the following agencies markets steel for the public sector plants? So you have to tell among these agencies that have been given here, the name that the market agencies market that have been given here, which one is the public sector plant that is being owned and operated by the government? So the options that has been given to you are A, HALE, B, SAIL, C, Tata Steel or D, MNCC. So here the correct option is SAIL, that is Steel Authority India Limited. So basically the SAIL is the one which is owned and operated by the government agencies. That's why we can say that it is a public sector plant. So please mark that B as the correct option in your book. Now third question is, which one of the following industries uses bauxite as a raw material? So here you have to tell that from these particular options, which particular industry uses bauxite as a raw material. So the options that have been given to you are aluminium, B, cement, C, jute or D, steel. So here you are getting 4 options, which is aluminium, cement, jute and steel. So first of all, cement doesn't use bauxite as a raw material, because the kind of minerals they need to for requiring for cement making cement, so it is limestone and different kind of materials that they are using. So it is not cement, then it is not jute, and steel also doesn't use bauxite. Aluminium is the one where the melting, basically when they need to melt it and make it into other products, they use bauxite as a raw material to make it. So the correct option here is aluminium. So please mark that in your book. Now fourth question is, which one of the following industries manufactures telephones, computer, etc. So you have to tell in this particular question that which of these industries manufacture telephones, computer, etc. So options that have been given to you are A. Steel, B. Electronic, C. Aluminium, or D. Information technology. So steel doesn't like steel industry doesn't manufacture all these things. Electronics does. The electronic companies are there. They manufacture all these things, and aluminium is also not the one. Information technologies serve all the software engineering department. So here the correct option we are getting is electronic. So please mark that in your book as well. The correct option is electronic, who manufacture these telephones, computer, and etc. So I hope so till first question everything is clear. Now from second question you have to write all the answers in your notebook as well. So please start, you should have your notebook within your hand and start writing down the question and the answer as well. And you have to show me that as well with the homework. So classwork also and homework also you have to do both. So here we are going to discuss the first question. So here you have to answer the following question briefly in not more than 30 words. So the first question that is given here is, what is manufacturing? So what does manufacturing mean? We have discussed this enormous times, and I have told you the meaning also, that what does manufacturing means here. So the solution of this particular question is, manufacturing is the production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products. So manufacturing here means that you are producing the goods in large quantities after processing them from the raw material and making them into more valuable products. For example, paper, which is manufactured from wood, sugar from sugarcane, iron and steel from iron ore, and aluminium from bauxite. So basically these are the few of the raw materials that we used into our daily life. Like in a daily life we are using this because we are having all these books that you are having, all these notebooks you are having, which is eventually manufactured from the wood only. Now the sugar that you eat, it is coming from sugar cane, iron steel items are coming from iron ore, and aluminium items are coming from bauxite. So here what they are doing, they are processing these raw material into more valuable products, and basically they are producing in one way, and this production of goods is known as manufacturing. Now question number 2, name any 3 physical factors for the location of the industry. So here you have to tell any 3 physical factors where you what will be the 3 physical factors. Note down that physical factors they want for the location of a industry. So here the 3 physical factors for the location of the industry will be the availability of raw material. So here we are not seeing that what kind of human needs are there. We are seeing that what kind of physical means the outside output things that we require. Outside things means the land area, the raw materials, the availability of other kind of items, जो बाहर वाली चीजें होती हैं वो सब. So these 3 physical factors for the location of industry are, first of all, availability of raw material. So if we see in the physical factor, the first and foremost thing is that there should be the availability of raw material to you. Now second most important thing is it should be closest to the markets. So if you are setting up any sort of industry, you will be seeing that the industry should be nearby to some city places, and it should be near to the market, so that the transportation cost should be least possible. Now availability of power. So whichever area you are going to locate your industry, they should be having power supply, there should be electricity from where you can actually utilize it in a better way. मतलब जहाँ पे लाइट ही नहीं होगी तो वहाँ पे आप कैसे प्रोडक्ट बना सकते हो. So there should be availability of power as well. For example, jute textile industry is concentrated in West Bengal, as the jute producing area lie in the Hooghly Basin, and there is cheap water transport for transportation and for processing of jute. So here they are setting up a jute textile industry, and basically jute is famous for in the West Bengal area. So it is considered in the West Bengal as it is the one of the most famous and the first place where this jute producing area have been seen, that and it is lying in the Hooghly Basin, and just because of that उनको बहुत ही cheaper rate पे transportation मिल जाता है. They are getting very cheap water transport for transportation and for the processing of jute as well. So these are few of the physical factor availability for the location of an industry. Now the third question, name any 3 human factors for the location of an industry. So now you have to name any 3 human factors. Now physical factors are over. Now we have to discuss all the 3 human factors. So here the 3 human factors for the location of an industry are, which are basically doing all the work and which is very much needed for basically making them into a processed good. So first of all, labor. Now you will having the raw material, everything. Now obvious reason is सारी चीजें होने के बावजूद उसको बनाएगा कौन? So obviously labor is one of the most important human factor here who is going to make these products. So labor is first human factor. Then second is capital. Now obvious reason the capital is that just because everything comes with money only. So if you are investing to set up into a location, you need investment to buy these raw material, to buy the land area for transportation, everything. You will require certain amount of money or certain amount of investment. So capital is very much needed as a human factor. Now the third one is it should be closeness to the cities. So the third most important thing here is it should be closest to the cities, so that many people should acquire that particular land area. Many students should acquire that particular area, and many people should attain everything possible around them. For example, like jute textile industry in West Bengal, they get cheap labor from the adjoining states like Kolkata is a large urban center for banking, insurance and food facilities. So basically the same example we are taking of jute textile industries from West Bengal. So they are getting the additional benefits, like they are getting cheap labor from the like their local states, local cities, and from the adjoining states as well, like Odisha, UP, Bihar. So they are getting on a cheaper rate labor. Then Kolkata is very much famous for giving large urban centers for making these jute textile industry for like banking services, insurance and food facilities. So these are few of the human factors we needed for the location of an industry. Now the fourth question. Now in fourth question they are asking what are the basic industries? Give an example. So we have to discuss here what are the basic industries and with that particularly example. So basic or key industries are the industries which supply their product or raw materials to manufacture other goods. So as I've told you before also, these basic industries are basically making these raw material into some products, and these products again are manufactured in other industries to make other valuable products. So there are certain levels here where they are using these raw materials into make and they are manufacturing them into finished goods, and these products also again are going to make any other kind of product. So these are coming under the basic and key industry, where there are certain levels where these products or raw materials go manufacture other goods. Like for example, if we are taking here is iron from iron and steel industries. So iron and steel industries, they provide iron and steel to other industries as the raw material. Now they are getting iron ore from which they are making iron and steel kind of products. Now these iron and steel products are going to other kind of industries as a raw material to make other valuable products. So that's how this basic or key industry works. Now question number 5. Name the important raw materials that have been used in the manufacturing of cement. So here you have to tell about the important raw materials that have been used in the manufacturing of cement. So the important raw materials that are used in the manufacturing of cement are, first of all, that is limestone, second is silica, third is aluminium, and fourth is gypsum. So basically cement is a mixture of all these 4 raw materials, and after that only they can make the cement. And basically in the cement industry they extract all these particular raw material and mix it together to make cement. So these are the important raw materials that are basically used to manufacture of the cement. So we are done with question number 2. Now we are taking question number 3. So in question number 3 you have to write the answers of the following questions in 120 words. So here the first question that is given to you is, how are integrated steel plants different from mini steel plants, and what problems does the industry face? What recent developments have led to a rise in the production capacity? So here you have to tell about how these integrated steel plants are different from these mini steel plants, and what problems does this particular industry is facing currently. What recent developments have led to a rise in the production of these iron and steel capacity? So the solution of this particular question is, first of all, these integrated steel plants are very large and they handle everything in one complex. So basically these all these iron and steel plants which are set up here, they are in a large number and in a large quantity. They are very bulky, they are very heavy, and they handle everything in one complex, from putting together all the raw material to steel making, then rolling and shaping them. So basically this particular structure to make all these iron steel companies and iron steel plants are very large. They handle everything in one complex where they are putting everything together to make the basically for making, rolling and shaping them into different kind of tools and machineries. Now if we talk about the mini steel plants, they are smaller. They are having electric furnaces, like they use steel scrap and sponge iron. They have re-rollers, and that they use steel ingots as well. They produce mild and alloy steel of giving specifications. So basically it is integrated steel plants are large, and same way if we talk about mini steel plants, they are smaller. They are very small. They are having electronic furnaces. They use steel scrap and sponge iron. They have re-rollers again, and they use these steel ingots as well. They produce mild and alloy steel of giving them specifications. Like the challenges they are facing that have been faced by the steel industries are, they are very high cost. First of all, just because they are very heavy in nature and they require a lot of things to make it work, so the cost that the production cost that they are getting into is very high, which is quite a lot more than any other industries out there. So they are having very high cost, and they are having limited availability of coking coal. So basically coking coal is one of the items that has been used to generate these iron and ore things. But there is certainly a very limited availability of coking coal from where they can extract these iron ore. Now there is lower productivity of labor, so the labors are also not that kind of productive for the industries out there. So there is having a very lower rate of productivity for the laborers. Then irregular supply of energy. So obviously they are putting these industries into some stagnated and simulated places. So obvious reason is that they are not able to get the proper supply of energy which is needed. Then there is poor infrastructure, so they are setting for the, like, the production rate should be, production cost should be less. For that, their infrastructure is not that much good and that much well built, so they doesn't have any good infrastructure for these particular industries. And in recent developments, if we see that there is such as liberalization and foreign direct investment that has been introduced, have given a boost to the industry with the efforts of private entrepreneurs. So basically the public sectors are not developing much, but now the recent development has seen about the liberalization, where they are not they are fully independent, they are investing on their companies and they are getting the profit on their own. And there is certainly FDI, which is foreign direct investment also, that is coming up with for these industries, and basically they have given a quite good boost to the industry with the efforts of private entrepreneurs. So private entrepreneurs are basically the businessmen, those who own their own businesses, those who have their own industries, kind of a private industry, those who are working on their own, doesn't have any other government agency policies, or they are attached with any other policies. Now question number 2. So in question number 2, they have asked you, how do industries pollute the environment? So here you have to discuss about what kind of pollution that these industries create in the environment, and how do these industries pollute our environment. So basically these industries are responsible for 4 types of pollution. First is air, then water, land and noise. So here these are the 4 important kind of industrial pollution that has been created. Firstly, we'll discuss about air pollution. So air pollution is caused by the presence of a high proportion of undesirable gases such as sulfur dioxide and carbon monoxide and airborne particulate matter. So these air pollution is basically caused by the presence of high proportion of undesirable gases around us, such as sulfur dioxide or carbon monoxide, and airborne particulate matter is also there, which pollute the environment. Then we'll talk about the water pollution. So water pollution is caused by organic and inorganic industrial waste and effluents that are basically discharged into water bodies, like paper, refineries and canals are the main culprits of the water pollution here. So basically they discharge all these particular things in the water bodies and pollute the water. Now the third one is the soil and water pollution, both that are closely related, because the dumping of waste makes the soil useless for agricultural activities, and the pollutants, they reach the groundwater through the soil and contaminate it as well. So here they are talking that the soil and water pollution are closely related. How? Because the dumping of the waste makes the soil very useless for agricultural activities, where they dump all these waste material into the agricultural sites. So it is the soil becomes very useless, and the pollutants then reach to the groundwater as well through the soil and contaminate the water as well. Now the fourth one is the noise pollution. So noise pollution is basically caused by industrial machinery and construction activity. So all the drilling thing and this machinery makes a lot of sound. So whoever is nearby to such things, and people are working nearby to such sound and noise pollution, they can actually get ill, and basically their earbud can like it can harm to them as well. So it is basically caused by all these industrial machinery and all these construction activities. Now the last question of this particular NCERT exercise question is, discuss the steps to be taken to minimize the environmental degradation by industries. So here you have to discuss all the steps to be taken to minimize all the environmental degradation by the industries. So the steps that can be taken to minimize the industrial degradation by industries are, first of all, adapting the latest techniques and upgrading the existing equipment to improve energy efficiently. So basically adapting all the latest techniques that have been introduced and upgrading the existing equipment to improve energy efficiency. So if you change the old machinery to the new one using the new techniques, so eventually it is going to minimize the environmental degradation in a much better way, because they are going to be eventually the old machinery are going to create that kind of a pollution only, and if you are taking these latest technologies which are having eco-friendly items, so it is eventually helping you. Now providing green belts for nurturing ecological balance as well. So if you are providing green belts for nurturing ecological balance, it is eventually helping to minimize the environmental degradation. Then particulate matter in the air can be reduced by fitting smokestacks to factories with electrostatic precipitators, fabric filters, scrubbers, and internal separators. So basically all these industries, all the smoke that is there, it goes directly to the in the air. So instead of that, they can use all these air filtration, that is smoke stackers. They are having electrostats, fabric filters, stabbers, to reduce the air pollution, and जो भी smoke जो जाएगा, it is going to be less harmful in the environment. So you can use these particular items. Then using silencers for noise generating equipment. So basically you can use these silencers also for less at least minimize these noise pollution by for these noise generating equipments. Now minimizing water usage by reusing and recycling it into or more successful stages. So how you can reduce the water pollution, by how you can minimize water usage by reusing and recycling it into 2 or more successive stages. And then harvesting of rainwater to meet water requirements. So there is always lack of pure water, or we can say that there is water scarcity most of the time. So you can do this rainwater harvesting it to meet the water requirements. Then treating hot water and effluents before releasing them in rivers and ponds is one of the best solutions. Treatment of all these industrial effluents can be done in 3 phases. So what are these basic 3 phases? Primary treatment, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. So in primary treatment, they are using all the mechanical means. So they are using all the screening, grading, flocations, and sedimentation. Now in the second stage, in the secondary treatment, they are using biological process. Third is the tertiary treatment by biological, chemical, and physical processes. So this involves the recycling of all the wastewater material and making the water less pollutant if by these industries possible. So these are few of the steps that we can take to reduce or minimize the environmental degradation by these industries. So that's it for the NCERT exercise question. We are done with the complete chapter now. Please make sure that you write each and every question apart from MCQ in your notebook and make it check. The classwork I want to see by afternoon only. I want to see this particular work till afternoon, and the homework you can submit me in the next morning. So the homework that I want to assign you in this particular lecture is the assignment for this particular chapter. So the assignment questions are here in front of you that you have to do as the homework. So the first question is, give examples of industries which cause a lot of water pollution. So you have to tell in the first question few of the examples of industries which cause a lot of water pollution. Question number 2. Why has the automobile industry of India witnessed fast growth? Give reasons. So you have to tell the reasons why the automobile industries of India witnessed a very fast growth. Third question is, Write 4 characteristics and 4 major uses of aluminium. So you have to tell the 4 characteristics and 4 major uses of aluminium. Question number 4. Why are most of the iron and steel industries concentrated in and around Chota Nagpur Plateau region? Give reasons. So you have to tell why most of these iron and steel industries are concentrated in and around the Chota Nagpur Plateau region only, with certain reasons. Question number 5. Why are sugar mills shifting and concentrating in southern and western state of India only? Give reasons. Same. So you have to tell why these sugar mills are shifting from the southern, concentrating in southern and western state of India from these northern sides. You have to give reasons as well. And question number 6. The textile industry is the only industry which is self-reliant and complete in the value chain. Justify this particular statement. So you have to tell why it is self-reliant and it is a complete in the value chain. Justify this particular statement. So this is the assignment for this particular chapter that you have to do as a homework, and you can submit this particular homework till morning. You have the time. And if you have still queries from any of these questions and you are not able to understand anything, you can ask me in the online class where we can clarify and discuss all your doubts. So that's it for this lecture. Thank you so much for listening, and just please take care of yourself. Thank you so much.